guys, thank you for checking out another video. I got another video on the F80 M3. Today we're going to be installing spacers on it. Like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, the wheels were stuck in pretty far, so we got some wheel spacers in. We're going to go ahead and install them and then show you guys what it looks like. Hopefully it looks good and there's no rubbing issues. So let's get started. All right, so you guys can see here how far the wheel actually sticks in. I don't know if you can get an idea for it, but it's pretty far. Get a top view. And then the front is even worse. Like, it is in there. So we're gonna go ahead and install these. It's gonna be 15 millimeters up front, a 20 millimeter in the rear. I'm gonna do one side at a time. The ISF's over here on jack stands getting taken apart, so I can only jack one side at a time right now. I already went ahead and loosened up these lugs on this side, the studs on this side, and then just so I can jack it up and then get started. All right, so in here we have the wheel spacers, and also kind of the nice thing about BMW, I don't know, I'll probably change it later on, but so BMWs have wheel studs instead of like on other JDM cars and stuff like that, where you have a lug nut. So this one, it's a whole stud. So with that being said, the spacers, normally you'd have to run extended lug nuts or something in order to get the spacers to work, so that you're not putting your wheels on like just a little bit of thread. So with these, because they're studs, they come with extended studs already, and it's just it's a really simple install. You don't have to replace any studs like you would if it was a JDM car or pretty much any other car. But I know a lot of people do the conversion, so I'm not sure what the benefits are. I don't know if it's just easier to work with when you're taking the wheels on and off, because I'm sure it's a pain in the butt to get the wheels aligned. So they're KSP performance, hub centric, obviously 5x120. This looks to be the 20 millimeter one. And then this should be the 15, I hope, because that thing is thick. So since I don't plan on getting wheels anytime soon, to be honest, maybe at the end of the year or next year, but for now, I'm gonna keep these wheels. So I want to run a spacer just to give them a nicer look, a cleaner look. There you go. These are the 15. So these will be the fronts, these are the rears. You can kind of see the difference in the two. And then this here, I got two other boxes. I don't know what, one of them's the studs, maybe they're both. It's probably just two boxes for the studs for the front and rear. I just gotta figure out which is which. I don't know if they're just the same length. Yeah, so this is what I mean for those of you that don't like know BMW or have experience with them. So this is what you have instead of a normal stud and a lug nut. It's a one piece. So when you get something like this, wheel spacers, you get this with it, or you just get extended versions of these, which is pretty nice. The ones on the car right now are like silver or chrome too, so it'll be nicer to have these right here. These are definitely longer. I don't know, yeah, a little bit longer. So these must be the rears, and then these must be for the fronts for the 15 millimeter. See here how far it sticks out, so nice. That way they'll be nice and secure. Yeah, just basic. So, all right, cool. Let's get these wheels off of the car, and then we'll pop these on. It should be pretty fast. I'm gonna do one side at a time, and then I'll show you guys kind of a walk through or a walk around of the car and see how it looks. She be making that money, baby, baby, baby. All right, guys, so this is what I mean by hub centric. This is gonna fit perfectly around here. Otherwise, it would be kind of free floating, and you really don't want that with a spacer. You want it to be nice and centered. So it kind of just locks into place right here. I just clicked in there, and then I just line up these holes here. And yeah, it's locked in place. So once I put the wheel on, it's not gonna be off-centered at all. It's gonna be perfectly placed. So that's good. So let me show you guys the difference between the OEM lugs and then the extended ones. And these are shorter than the rear ones, so they're made for this size spacer. So it's pretty nice. I got this whole set on eBay, which is pretty cool. It was like 80 bucks for everything. That was a pretty sweet deal, and they're really nice, really good quality. So we're gonna go ahead and get these on, get the wheels torqued down, and then I'm gonna lower the car and kind of show you guys real quick what it looks like, and then I'll do the other side and then pull the car out and drive it a little bit. All right, guys, so I got the spacers on. Took about 10 minutes. Really wasn't bad at all. I just kind of tightened them a little bit just so I can lower the car, because the wheels are free spinning right now, at least the fronts are. So I'm gonna lower it down, make sure the fitment looks pretty good where it's not gonna rub, and then we'll go ahead and torque these down. All right, I'm a little nervous because the 20 is pretty wide, and just looking at it now, it's gonna be pretty close, but I'm hoping it's like spot on and I don't have any rubbing issues. Oh, okay. All right. All right, guys, look at that. I think we're gonna be good. My car's not super low, it's stock height, so I think we're gonna be good actually. Let's look at the front now. Oh, cool. The front's still in a little bit, which is sweet, because I don't want to have any rubbing when I turn and stuff. That was a little bit of my concern. So this is a perfect size to the front. The rears is pretty aggressive, but it looks really good. You can just see like how much tire is showing right here, which is nice. With these fenders being so wide too, it just gives it a really nice stance. Yeah, it looks really good right now. We're gonna go ahead and do the other side. I'm not gonna record that. First, I'm gonna torque it down though. I gotta look up the torque specs for this car specifically. And then I got my torque wrench right here. You always wanna make sure you torque down your wheels, because it could be scary. You know, you don't wanna be driving around on loose wheel studs or lug nuts. All right, guys, with just a quick Google search, I quickly found out that the torque specs for these lug studs on this BMW specifically, about 104 to 105. So go ahead and set that up. I'm going the wrong way. All right, so right there we're at 100. Yeah, it's 100 right there. 102, 104. Lock that in. Get these torqued down. Go. Check these again real quick. Yep. All right, that'll be good. Cool. Go ahead and do the fronts. All right, that's it, guys. We'll go ahead and pull the car out now. Give you guys a little sneak peek before we go for a little drive. I will say it does look so much better. I'm really happy. For the cost of this modification, man, I'm stoked. It completely changed the stance of the car. I think it's perfect. I went with the probably a little bit more aggressive sizing that they offered, but I think it paid off. I was a little bit nervous, but look at that fitment. It just barely tucked in there. So I think I have plenty of room for like hard bumps and dips, but the suspension on this car is amazing, so I'm not really worried about that. This is stock height, so that's awesome. The front is a little high. They run a little high on the front, but I think the 15 was a perfect choice as well. So what I'm gonna be doing, later on is going to be going with wheel space. What I'm going to be doing later on is going to be going with lowering springs. The rear, it's going to drop it maybe a little bit, but even as it sits, honestly, I think that's perfect. So if it's too low with the springs, I might just leave the stock ones in the back. But for the front, it's going to drop it like maybe 1.5 inches, which will sit perfect. The reason I want to go with springs is honestly the car rides really comfortable, and it has the dynamic mode, or where you can switch to different settings, like economic, which is comfortable, or comfort. Then it's got sport, and then sport plus, and it changes the suspension settings. So I really don't want to lose that. That's something I didn't mess up with the ISF. I mean, the ISF had crappy suspension from the factory as it was pretty stiff. So and I use this car for track, so I was okay with going with stiff springs, but it made it kind of shitty to drive on the street. I didn't really want to take it out that often, especially not with my wife, because it was just like super bumpy. In this car, I just don't want to do that. Plus the stance is already pretty good. I just need to bring the front down a little bit. My concern isn't to like slam the car. I really don't want to do that. I just want it to be a clean car to drive that I can take out and do canyon runs, and it's still fast but comfortable at the same time. All right, guys, let's take it for a little drive just to make sure there's no rubbing. All right, so this is the first drive with the new spacers on, just to make sure everything is good and nothing's rubbing. I have it in M2 mode right now, which on this car you can set up like what you want it to do exactly. So for me, M2 is going to be Sport Plus steering, Sport suspension, and Sport Plus like responsiveness and engine. That's kind of what I like to drive in the most. And then I have M1, which for me, M1 is pretty much the same thing, but it's going to take off traction control. And then it's also going to go into manual shifting, so paddle shifting. I actually wanted to get my wife some flowers today, so this kind of works out. Go head out and buy some flowers and test this out, make sure everything's good. But honestly, so far I love the stance. I'm really happy with it. Makes me feel like I don't need to get wheels right away, which is nice. Car's 100% stock exhaust, stock intakes, everything. Let this guy go. A little bit of a hard turn right here. Man, what I really want is some intakes. You can't really hear the turbo spool just because it has the OEM boxes and like the OEM filters. So I'd really love to get some intakes so you can hear a little bit more of that turbo spool. The whole reason why I got this car. Traction a little bit right there, shifting. M1 mode. It makes you confirm before, just to make sure, you know. It's like, are you sure you want traction off? The car sounds pretty good for stock though. I'm actually happy with the exhaust. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. I'll put the link in the description for what spacers I got. They have a bunch of different combinations and sizes and stuff like that. I think it was a really good deal. I got here fast, so that's gonna be it, guys. I got myself a Red Bull. This is the best flavor they make. If you guys haven't tried it, check it out. And then got my wife some flowers. She's gonna love those. But yeah, guys, I have a lot of plans for this car. I already have like a vision of how I want it. So if you guys want to follow along in the process, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to drop a like, that's awesome. Or if you have any comments on what you think you want to see, or what would you do differently, you know, I kind of want to get some other ideas. I appreciate you guys for watching it. You definitely want to check out the next video. I'm gonna be uploading a tune to this car, so we'll be tuning the F80. I'm gonna be doing it myself. I already got the software. I'm waiting for the cable so I can hook up the laptop to the car. It's gonna be through bootmod 3 or BM3. So you definitely want to check that video out. It's gonna be awesome. Appreciate you guys.
She be making that money, yeah. I'm already doing what I can for you. I'm already doing all the things to do. I'm already showing you what I do. You've already done what you can